What's going on, everyone? Big day today. Got Andy Martin coming on. Couldn't have come at a better time either, um, especially with some of the interest situations there. So this should be really good. I'll just give her a second to log on. Oh, there she is. Let's get her in here. Sorry, Andy, I'm coming. Yes. All right, I think I got that. Hey,
Going.
hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you so much for joining me on a lovely Tuesday. Was it Tuesday? Who knows? The
I know,
weekend's already messing up.
but it is Tuesday. Yes.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Let me do a quick little introduction here. So it's Isaiah Henry here, First Position Real Estate. Today we have on Andy Martin. What a beautiful surprise it is for today. We were going to connect like a week before, but she got a little busy, which is obviously okay. I'm so excited to connect. Andy is a mortgage professional out in Sudbury, and we've talked a lot. I'm banging down her door to try and do a deal, but you know the market we're in. But I'm very excited to have you on. Andy, thanks again for joining us here.
Not a problem at all. Thank you so much for having me.
Perfect. So today we got like four questions. We usually do a little bit back and forth, but I don't even want to waste time with me talking because I want to hear so much other stuff that you got to say. So I'm going to jump right into it.
Awesome.
Um, so one of the first questions I have now, again, I wouldn't call myself a new investor, but I wouldn't say I'm like the most seasoned in the world.
Okay.
But a lot of new investors, like they reach out and they're like, "Oh, I want to do that like sexy, no money down deal," and I kind of have apprehensions with that. Would you mind shedding some light on, what a no money down deal is and how that can really affect, and how that can affect an investor getting started?
Of course. It is definitely an inquiry that happens quite a bit, especially I find with social media. Everybody sees people posting and saying, oh, I've got, 100 doors or I've got this, this, and this, and I use no money. That's all really great if it's done very strategically and if you have good luck.
Yeah.
Um, the issue is with the no money down is if you end up in a compromised position on any one thing, if you're over leveraged on everything and one thing goes wrong, it can be a domino effect and you can lose it all, right? It's really about managing the risk and making sure that you've assessed the property and your whole situation to make sure that it's suitable for you. Okay. So, I mean, it does work in certain instances. I'm not the broker who normally is doing, somebody with 100 doors with no money down because morally, I want to make sure that you're actually set up and there's other ways to get there, right?
Hmm.
Bringing in all of these third parties and financing to 100% can get into a very slippery slope. Um, the really big thing that we have to be careful with now is how fast the market is increasing in value, that a lot of the cash flow has actually dropped quite significantly. And a lot of the advertisements, even in listings or in private sales, talk about all this great cash flow, but it's off the potential of the property, not necessarily the current. So you actually have to get there first. So to get there, you have to be able to manage what you currently have going on. So there's a lot. It is more difficult than it was pre-pandemic to get into these no cash deals because you just don't have the cash flow anymore.
Yeah, and I think you hit the nail on the head here. Like so many times, everyone advertises the deal, whether you're a realtor, or wholesaler, cash flowing $150 a door in a tenplex. I'm like, 150 bucks a door, and then you look at the rents. Like the
Yeah.
rents haven't been raised in 15 years, and they're like, oh, we mean like potential, like after you just stabilize the property, and they say it like so easy, like, oh, just stabilize it like you're going to the store to get a cup of milk or something. I'm like, no, that process is very difficult and, can have a lot of different things go right or wrong there. So I think that's perfect when you say it can be done. I don't know if it's everybody's cup of tea to do like, 10, 15 doors, no money down. And I think it's really great that, someone in your position who's actually a professional in the space is like, I don't know if it's the best because so many people say like, oh, it's like the be all and end all of real estate.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it can be done, but it can also be done in conjunction with other strategies. You don't need to strictly be buying no money down. It's not going to work for every property. You really need to find the diamond in the rough that it's going to work for. And then on the other ones that don't work for no money down, that doesn't mean it's not a good investment. We can find other ways and leverage your other stuff to make those other deals work still.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's perfect. I'm gonna have to definitely cut that right there and send that out to people when they're like, I want to do no money down. I'm like, no, listen to what Andy said. She's got the truth there. So that's awesome. So I'll move on to my next question I have for you here. So we've already had a couple interest rate hikes. I'm not gonna lie, as I know and I understand what's happening, but still I get a little bit of cold feet when I see the interest rates go up.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure other investors are like that. What advice or what peace of mind can you give me and some other investors when they're thinking about their portfolio with the interest rates going up?
Right. So, I mean, earlier this year we had a 0.25% rate increase, and then last week we saw another 0.5%. So obviously that's not peanuts, but it's still, we're still just normalizing. Investors who came into the market right at the early pandemic or right before the pandemic and then have been going through since are experiencing record low interest rates. It's great to take advantage of those, but to rely on them, in my opinion, seems naive. Obviously, the pandemic has to end at some point. We're removing masks. Everybody's going back to work. You know, things are going to start to normalize in all aspects of life. So I think it's important that when you're analyzing a deal, if you did your due diligence and made sure that you weren't, you know, pinching pennies on every single aspect, that increase should not make or break your portfolio. Obviously, you have to kind of evaluate and maybe just scale back on certain things, or, you know, re-strategize how you're going to do the maintenance that needs to be done on property, you know, XYZ, so that you're not compromising, you know, all of your cash flow. That's definitely something that needs to be taken into account. But I think investors are very quick to forget that, yes, I got this great low interest rate and now I have to deal with them going up a little bit, but you still have the flexibility. That was one of the greatest advantages of your variable rate with the low penalties. And you guys have all capitalized or can capitalize so much on how quickly the values have appreciated that even if your cash flow is down by $100 a month on a property, the amount of equity that you've appreciated in that time frame is exponential.
Exactly. And I feel like the investors who are a little bit savvier are like, they see that, they're like, whoa, didn't love that. But they know that if they bought at, like, you know, correct fundamentals, their portfolio doesn't really shake all the way down. I looked through my numbers the other day and I went through my spreadsheets and I saw the mortgage amounts change. I'm like, ay, ay, ay.
Yeah.
But I bought those properties in, like, you know, with good fundamentals, you know, buy below market value, being able to add value and not over leverage. Because I remember I brought a deal to you and I really wanted to do it. I'm like, yo, let's do this. But I would have been so over leveraged. And, you know, I was running my numbers real tight. And I remember you even brought it up. Hey, you know, if the interest rates move a little bit, this deal really doesn't work. And in my head, you know, I wanted the deal so bad. But once you kind of play with those good fundamentals, you're like, you know what, maybe this isn't the deal.
Exactly. As long as you've done your due diligence at the initial time of purchase and allowed for those fluctuations, which, let's be honest, you should be doing regardless of if you're on a variable rate or not. Because, I mean, I've myself been in the position of a tenant not paying for 8 months and having to go to court. These things happen. It is a risk that you're taking when you want to go into this kind of type of investment, and you need to be prepared for fluctuations on all aspects.
Exactly. Oh, couldn't have said it better myself. That's awesome, man. This is gonna go viral as soon as everyone hears all the nuggets you're giving out for people. That's awesome. I'm gonna flip gears a little bit here. I'm gonna talk a little bit about flipping. I know we've had a couple conversations off camera about it as well. So flipping, another sexy strategy in that no money down category. Now, a lot of people do these flips and they have the numbers on the front. They're like, oh, this flip's gonna, you know, net me 70, 80K. But then at the time they actually, you know, sell, finish everything, they're left with like $5,000, or sometimes they're even negative.
Yep.
Would you mind shedding some light on what investors should actually look out for when running their numbers or actually going through a flip?
Yes, this is actually very, very convenient timing. I just released a post today that everybody can check out about flip specifically. I do have a flip analyzer that I give out to my clients, and I've actually posted it. So if you guys want to DM me, I think the link in bio is having some issues today, but I can send that over to anybody who's interested. The biggest thing about the flips that I see is people underestimating budget and time frame. If you overestimate, you're going to be in a lot bigger position. Chances are you're going to set your budget, think that you can skip a few corners, then you get in there, you tear out the drywall, and you find something you weren't expecting, and now you're not just over your initial budget, but you're way, way over, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, nobody knows when you're getting into these flip projects. There's a lot that you can't see until you really start your demo. So leave some room for that, and run those numbers, do the analyzers, and figure out, you know, where is my profit line, and where do I value my time? That's the biggest thing. I myself looked into doing a flip right at the beginning of the pandemic, crunched the numbers, thought I had everything in order, and then, you know, looked at really what my rental budget was, and actually took my contractor with me through and said, okay, on this project, I don't have time to manage everything, so you need to account for that into my budget. You're going to take care of it. My prices came in higher than I'm expecting, so I crunched it and I said, am I really worth putting this much risk and time into a project that's only going to profit me 10 grand? Nope, not for me, right? So it's about figuring out where you value your time and the size of projects that you want to take on, because that's going to in turn really dictate the size of profit that you can walk away with, right? Yeah. So that's a big one. And another big part of this is working with a broker and a team and a realtor who are experienced in these type of things, because there are niche products and the realtors will be able to help you with after repair comps and that sort of thing, and really analyzing those deals with you. So it's not just like how you said that deal you sent me, you had looked at it but hadn't thought about one thing, right? So then when you get another perspective on it, or maybe there's another product you hadn't thought about that we can use, maybe now things look a lot better, or maybe they look a lot worse.
Worse. Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's really good. You're bringing in little elements of like that power team aspect there. Like investing, like I said, it's never a one-person game. You could make it a one-person game, but you don't get very far. But when you start bringing those power team, whether it's like your realtor or it's your mortgage broker, and you're looking like, hey, these are actually the comps. Because everyone in their head, when they see a flip, they're like, oh, it's going to be done so nice, so it's going to sell higher than everything. And then I talk to people, I'm like, no, you got to look at the comps and be prepared to list under that, because you don't want to hold it an extra month. So you can't sell right at the top. You got to be just under and be comfortable with that number, unless you want to hold it for additional months.
Yeah, and another big thing about the flips is to have not just plan A, but plan B. So obviously plan A, yeah, you sell it, you wash your money, you get out. But having plan B and having, you know, your broker look through and say, okay, if let's say the market's not in as good of a spot as we anticipated, can I hold this and do a refi? You know, am I able to tenant this? Is this something that works for me? And looking at also what type of lenders am I doing? I actually just got a call this morning of a deal that's supposed to fund tomorrow. And it is another broker desperately looking for help because their approval got pulled yesterday. Because they don't like the property. So if up front the broker knew everything and knew what to expect or was experienced in these flip type projects, they would know not to go to Scotiabank.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Oh yeah. No.
So, you know, it's just about, you know, if you have a broker who doesn't work with investors or who hasn't done this a lot, they can put you with somebody who's totally not okay with these projects, or with, you know, any small type of deficiency or distress that the property's in, right?
Yeah. No, that's huge. Yeah. Scotiabank for a flip?
Yep. I've been working on it all day trying to salvage it because closing is tomorrow.
Oh my goodness. I think they might have to go private on that one just to get that locked up.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I know that there was luckily some delays at the lawyer's office as well, so I think that might save my ass a little bit and give me a couple extra days. But
good.
Yeah.
That's awesome there. But hey, if anyone was gonna figure this out for them, I'm glad they have you on their team working for it. So that's perfect there. I got one more question for you before I let you go. Networking. Now, I think because everyone probably thinks like, you know, again, we got a great working relationship, business relationship. I'll be honest, I have not met Andy in person. Like, she lives in Sudbury, I live in Durham. But the reason that we've connected is because of networking. You know, I was putting myself out there, and Andy puts herself out there. I'm not going to lie. Her Instagram looks much better than me. She got that face for the camera, and, you know, people just swipe by my stuff. But can you explain or, maybe share how networking has helped you grow your business, whether it's on the mortgage side or on the real estate investing side?
For sure, for sure. As somebody who primarily only really puts time and effort into social media, I mean, I don't do paid advertisements. I don't do a whole bunch of, giveaways or, you know, appearances and that sort of thing. Most of my business is based on networking and based on word of mouth client referrals, right? That's where everything comes from. The networking is such a huge part of it, not just for a professional, in the industry, but also for the investor. It starts with how you can build your team. When you have the right team, that includes a mortgage broker, a financial advisor, a reliable realtor, an insurance broker, that whole bit. If all of the mindsets between your team don't align with yours, you're going to have people pulling you in different directions and giving you contradicting advice, and it's going to make it very difficult to actually successfully grow and foresee your opportunities. Whereas if you have networked and gotten the opportunity to, this is not our first call. We've had several calls before, email back and forth, just jotting ideas. Then you get to see, okay, this person is the right fit for me. We have the same mindset. So you know that you can run a deal by me, right? And that you're actually going to get an honest answer and feedback. I mean, you've probably brought me 4 deals that I could have made money on, but it wouldn't have been a right decision if I just said, yeah, go for it. These are great ones, and lied to you, right? Yeah. So that's kind of the first thing I find is it can really help with your team. And then the networking also really helps within the investors. The actual investor community I found to be so amazingly open. It's very refreshing. I find a lot of people are very ashamed or private about finances outside of the investor community. And, mortgages aren't talked about a lot. And that's why people don't know how to do their finances properly or how to set these up or the benefits that real estate investing can have. But when you actually immerse yourself, it's one of the first things when I have a client call, I say, get online, get on social media, follow all these investors that you can find because they all want to share it. You guys all want to share what you're doing great and what didn't work for you. And, again, this week it happened to me where I couldn't find an appraiser for Timmins. They don't have the most amount of appraisers.
None. Oh, but don't even get me started. Oh my gosh.
So then investor, my client gets on the phone, starts calling some of their investor friends, gets online, and lo and behold, we find an appraiser who can go this week, right? Nice. So once you have those connections, it can help. And learning from the investors about what's worked for them and what's not can help you build kind of what your path is. The only downside to that I will caution is don't rely on just someone else's path to success. Just because flips work for one person doesn't mean they're going to work for you. If you don't know what a subfloor is or, what to look for in a building at all or have no construction experience, flips might not work for you. But you could look at, long-term holds. You can look at, being the actual money front to a project. There's so many other ways that you can still do investing. And there's not really one path in real estate investing that is the ultimate key to getting to building that empire. So don't take everybody else's story too seriously. Kind of figure out where your niche is.
That's good. Wow, that is some amazing advice. I thought every question, I was like, she can't get better than that. Boom, 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 boom. So many golden nuggets there. That's awesome. Well, that's all the questions for me. But Annie, where can people find out more about you, what you're doing, mortgage side, real estate investing side?
Of course. My biggest platform is Instagram. So you can probably find me on this live somehow. Click on my thing. Give me a follow. I post very candidly. I'm very open about my personal and my professional life to kind of make this a little bit easier of a process for everybody. So that would be the best thing. All my contact info is right in there. And as I mentioned about that flip analyzer, if anybody wants it, just DM me and I'm happy to send it over, so that everybody can kind of benefit and be a little bit more prepared for the next venture.
100%. I'll give a quick testimonial for Andy. Listen, guys, this is a consummate professional. She knows her stuff. She'll point you in the right direction, and she has the resources to back it up. I've had nothing but good conversations from her, and I've heard nothing but good stuff. So if you need a mortgage agent, this is where you got to go. Andy, thank you so much for joining me today on
Thank
Tuesday.
you
It was great.
for having me.
No problem. Isaiah Henry, First Position Real Estate. That's Andy Martin right there. And Andy, until next time, we'll talk soon, okay?
Sounds good. Have a great rest of your week, guys.
You too.
Thank
Take
you.
care.